Hello everyone and welcome to the Geeky Blinders podcast, where each episode we talk to a different celebrity about their top 10 movies. This episode we have Andy Goldstein, radio and TV presenter, talking to us about his love of gangster films.
Don't forget, we have a competition running where you can win a pair of your own Geeky Blinders custom trainers. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning that is subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll then pick a winner on episode 3.
Enjoy the podcast.
Hello.
Hello, mate, all right?
Hey Andy, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me to do it. I'm just having a little biscuit and a cup of tea.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, not bad. Just before we start, obviously we're recording it, just make sure you're happy that it's recording, obviously.
I'm more than happy. I can't wait to open this box. It's been driving me fucking mad.
Oh, really? I do.
I wasn't
Keith was
meant
too
to open
keen,
it, was
wasn't
I?
No, you're not meant to. Keith was too keen, though. He was like straight in 2 days before. Message just saying how good they were.
Was he really?
Yeah, which is nice, but it's still like, it's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right, we'll dive in with number 10 then, if you want me, which is 12 Angry Men.
Yes, 12 Angry Men. Yeah. The reason I chose this, I thought it was good to have a good mixture of film in it, rather than just, choose every single Star Wars film, every Superman film that we've sort of done. And 12 Angry Men, I loved it because I saw it as a kid when I was sort of 8 or 9, and usually, like, I've got kids now that are 9 and 12, and if I showed them a black and white film, they'd think I was absolutely me. It needs to be animated, and it needs to be by a YouTuber that I've never heard of. So I quite like the idea. It was quite a raw and natural film for me to watch when I was that sort of age, and also I love the fact that it just. Have you guys seen it, the original?
Yeah.
Only recently, yeah. Because it was on your list, we decided to watch it. And
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
well, I love
amazing,
the fact
really
that it just concentrates on one room throughout the whole movie. And also I read, I can't remember who the director was, but I read that over the period of time when they were shooting it, they were making the movie, the set, they started making it smaller, bringing it in. So as the movie edges closer to the finale, it feels like everyone's on top of you.
Okay, yeah.
They also start off with the camera up high, and then as the film goes off, it goes lower and lower, and then by the end of it, it's level with everyone.
Yeah, it's just beauty. Everyone in it, their acting is phenomenal. It's got an amazing cast, and everyone it just plays their part so well. And I love the fact that this guy would have been sentenced to death had one guy not just gone, well, hold on a minute, we should talk about it. And then how it all changes. And I won't spoil it in case people haven't seen it. But the scene where he takes the flick knife out and he goes boom on the table. That just, I've got goosebumps now. That just blew me away. I thought that was great. And I haven't seen it recently. I saw it about 18 months ago, maybe a year ago. But now I'm talking about it, I'm thinking, I'm going to watch it tonight because it's just brilliant.
Exactly.
It's just great.
Yeah, it is. Like we said, we only watched it recently because it was on your list, and I feel bad for waiting so long to watch it now because it was so good.
Yeah, it really was. Did it surprise you? Are you fans of black and white movies anyway?
Yeah, I'm happy to watch black and white film.
That doesn't bother me, but it holds up as well. Like you say, the acting and the storyline, obviously, it still holds up today. It's not like it's gone out of date. It's still going on today. It definitely holds up. They
remade it with, I think, James Gandolfini, who I obviously adore, from Sopranos. And I think it was him. It might not be. I'm pretty sure it was. And I watched maybe 5 minutes. And the fact that that it was in colour, I thought ruined it, which is really bizarre. And B, it's so difficult to remake a movie that was an absolute classic and make it anywhere near as good. And sometimes you just look at a movie and you just think, just leave it alone. I think they should have done it with that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Obviously, it was made over 50 years ago as well, and the subject matter of it as well. I love the way they handled the bit where the juror towards the end, the racist juror starts having his racist rant, and rather than anyone just having a go at him, everyone just turns their back to him. Everyone and he just goes and sits off by himself. It's just such an amazing way of dealing with him. I thought it was so good. It
was great, and it was. I'll tell you what, it made me smile because I remember. It's funny you mention that scene because they're the type of scenes that if the actors get it wrong, it looks so cheap and tacky. They're the type of if I was doing drama at school, people would be turning going like, oh. And you just ruined it. You just ruined it. But everything in that movie is just absolutely perfect, even down to the turning on a racist scene. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We did say though, although we both loved it, we don't know anyone else that we think would enjoy it. It's quite it's almost like a niche sort of film, isn't it?
You have to sit down and watch, and especially people's attention.
Yeah, because it's all in one room. It's all about the writing. If you're into Tarantino and stuff, I think you would really like it.
Yeah, maybe. I was going to put in. You've got the list in front of me. I
Yeah.
wrote out about 30 movies, so I can't remember if I put it in. Did I put It's a Wonderful Life in the top 10?
No,
Nine
that
and
was in
10
your
now.
top. That was, I think, like
Okay,
24.
so I was torn between 12 Angry Men and It's a Wonderful Life to put that in the top 10. And I watched. Listen, I can't say anything negative about It's a Wonderful Life because it's just a phenomenal movie. But I watched it again recently, loved it, but I thought, okay, this is quite a long movie, and I thought the fact that made me go, I don't want to say anything negative about it because it's amazing, but I thought I've got to put at least one of these black and white movies in, and that's why I chose 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
It is really good. You picked another black and white with number 9, Raging Bull, is your number 9.
Oh, wow.
Classic.
Yeah, that was on telly again the other day, and it's one of those. There's only a few movies. Shawshank's another one, I think, where wherever that movie is when you turn it over, you think, I'll watch it to the end now.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's one of them. I mean, just everything. Everyone's performance in that is sublime. You know, Joe Pesci's just a wonderful actor anyway, and Robert De Niro. You know what he had to do for the weight gain. I think I'm right in saying that he put all the weight on, and they filmed all the scenes with him, you know, in the latter years being quite a fat, overweight ex-boxer. And then they trained him throughout the movie to get him to look as great as he did at the beginning of it. I think one of the reasons was they didn't want to just end filming and off he went as a big fat bloke.
That's fair. Probably his contract somewhere.
Yeah, but the story's incredible. I mean, I love a true story in a movie anyway, but the whole thing from beginning to end, it has you on the edge of your seat. I think it's the greatest boxing movie ever made.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like Rocky.
It's got some competition as well.
Yeah, it is tough competition, but I think any movie where you got Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro in,
we can see that
it's going to be a classic.
Talking that,
apart from The Irishman, which I absolutely hated and despised.
Oh, really?
What is that? Because of the CGI or the de-aging?
The CGI didn't bother me. I don't know. There was a scene in The Irishman where De Niro finds out that one of his kids got it in the ear from the guy that owns the corner shop, and he went round there and he beat him up. And it looks so fake. Like, you know, there's a bit where he's punching, because De Niro's, I think, about 106 now, and he just couldn't move. And he tried to, and there's one bit where he's like stamping on his face, and there's that famous scene in Goodfellas with Billy Batts where he's stamping on his, and I'm thinking, well, that's what it should look like. And this is, I just felt it was a little bit of, I don't know, maybe just Tarantino, Pesci, and De Niro all giving it one last hurrah. And I just think someone should have gone, listen, we know you're all geniuses, but just, I mean, who am I to tell? Do you know what I mean? to tell him to calm it down. But yeah. Did I say Tarantino or Scorsese? I said Tarantino. I meant Martin Scorsese. Yeah. I mean, who am I to tell Martin Scorsese just to rein it in a bit? But
tone it down.
You were going to say out of your top 10, 5 of them have Robert De Niro in, 4 of them have Joe Pesci in, and your top 3 all star De Niro and Joe Pesci. So we can see a certain theme there.
Do they really?
Yeah. Which really surprised me when you said you didn't like The Irishman that much, because according to that should be the greatest film ever made.
Yeah. How many films are my top 10 have got De Niro in? 5, did you say?
Yeah, 5 of them, yeah.
Jeez. And I tried to make it sort of, you know, as unconnected as possible. But
it's not a bad act to have in your top 10 though.
Yeah, no, I think that's why I kept typing up to about 27, because I just thought, there's so many movies that I love. It's so difficult to make a top 10 out.
Yeah.
It's so hard to pin it down. Yeah, you have to start with a higher number and then try and wheedle it down. But once you get to a certain number, even like 15, it's like tough to get to.
I think my top 3 are my top 3, and then from 4 up to 27, I just love all those movies.
Yeah, it could be anyway. It depends when you watched it as well. If you watched it recently, it's going to be higher up on your list, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Your number 8 was very not black and white at all. Wolf of Wall Street. Quite a colourful film for one reason.
Well, do you know what? The Wolf of Wall Street, I think it's a really underrated film. I think I'm amazed Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win an Oscar for it. Again, it's another true story. It's shot beautifully. The timeline of the story is great. It covers everything. The acting in it by everyone is fantastic. And I wanted, as I say, that, but you know, my top 3 are my top 3, and then the rest of them are just so happen to be, you know, collaborated in the top 10. But it is without doubt one of my favourite movies of all time. I can watch it night or day. Never loses its appeal. It always has the same energy. Yeah. And I just think it's a marvellous film. I really do.
It is just brilliant. I watched it again last night, and Jonah Hill. It was the first film after he'd done like Superbad and things like that, and then he did this, and you were just like, "That's not Jonah Hill. It's not how I knew him."
Yeah.
So,
And even watching it last night, it just blows me away how different he is. And he's amazing. He's so good in it.
Yeah, and
Leo
also
as well.
that first meet between Jonah Hill and DiCaprio, I think when they're in like a cafe,
Yeah,
and he's like, you know, how much do you earn, all that. When I was watching that, I was thinking these two characters, they shouldn't be getting on because they're not the same at all. And then over a period of time, you see their relationship blossom, and you just think, oh my god, they're just so perfect for each other.
It's such a good dynamic between the two of them. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie is unbelievable in it as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a fantastic actress. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's another one of those films, like you said, where you can just put it on at any point as well. I think if you put it on this halfway through, I'll just watch the rest of it. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, and it's got little, you know, it's a not serious film, but the funny bits are incredibly funny. So, for argument's sake, the bit where he's driving his white Lamborghini,
Yeah,
it all goes back, and you're like, oh my god, he's made it back without a scratch on it, and then you know, I get
it's
it.
one of my favourite scenes. That one,
it was so original, that movie. It really was. It was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
It's also you shouldn't be rooting for him. He's not a nice person, really. He's doing a lot of awful things, but throughout the entire movie, you just love him. He's just brilliant.
Yeah, you do. And that is it. Jordan Belfont, is that his name?
Jordan Belfort,
yeah. So I've seen him obviously in real life, and it's exactly the same person. I mean, DiCaprio got it down to a T. They look the same in it, and you can understand why he was such a likable person and why you'd be rooting for him in the movie. That scene as well, where Jonah Hill's in a bit of trouble and they've got Popeye on the telly. It's just so well made. It really is. It's great.
He has a small cameo in it as well, doesn't he? The real Jordan Belfort has a cameo at the end.
Really?
Does he? What part?
Yeah. So you know at the end when Leonardo comes out to do he goes, "Sell me this pen" to the audience member. The guy who introduces him is the real Jordan Belfort.
Nice. Look, goosebumps now. Look, you don't.
Next time you watch it, you'll be looking out for him.
Yeah, I'm so going to watch it in about 25 minutes, aren't I?
It's so good. Number 7 is first of many gangster films, Godfather 2.
Yeah, Godfather. I've not seen this for a long time actually, Godfather 2. But again, it's got De Niro and De Niro and Al Pacino in. I love the first Godfather movie. The third one I thought was terrible, but for me, the second one is just fantastic. It's quite a long movie. It's one of those movies where you've got to sit down and make sure the phone's off the hook and give it enough time, because if you start pausing it and go back to it, you just won't get the full effect of it. I love a gangster movie anyway. I love Godfather movies. I like that, and I like seeing De Niro, as a young pup, and seeing how he grew up and how he got into it, and how he killed that guy all dressed in white. I can't remember what his name was in it, but when they're walking through the streets and there's a parade going, it had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I just thought I think everyone likes the Godfather trilogy anyway. But yeah, I had to put that in. It's just I haven't seen that for ages, that movie, but maybe I'll go back and watch it. But it's always, since the moment I saw it, it's always been one of my favourite movies.
If you like gangster films, it's like the trilogy are like the ultimate, aren't they? The Godfather trilogy is like the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how you put Godfather 2 instead of Godfather. It's quite rare for someone to prefer a sequel over the one I can spring to mind for me is Aliens.
Or Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator maybe. But it's not many films where the sequel outdoes the original.
I think Porky's 2 was better than the first one.
Controversial.
I think so. Maybe I was a teenager when that one came out.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, I even think the Star Wars, and as great as Empire Strikes Back was, the first one was better. Back to the Future 2 was great, but the first one was phenomenal. Yeah, you're right. There's not many, is there? But I think Godfather definitely does. I think that's, in my opinion, I think the second one's better than the first.
Yeah, I think with them again, it depends when you watched it. I think you watched the first one most recently, because I have watched that one most recently, and that's why it's my favourite.
Yes.
I think if I watched the second one now, that would probably take over.
Oh, okay. Oh, you watched the first one recently, did you?
Yeah, I watched a couple of days ago. Because you put 2, I was going to watch them both, and after I watched the first one, I couldn't bring myself to sit there for another 3 hours.
No, so you needed a shave and a wash, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, brings us on to our next one, which was Nick said it was a palate cleanser between the rest of your film, which is When Harry Met Sally. It was quite different from the rest of them.
Yeah, it was a heavy week with the others.
Yeah, do you know what? I just adore that movie. As rom-coms go, I think it's my favourite rom-com. The acting in it is brilliant. I'm a big fan of Meg Ryan. I think Billy Crystal's a wonderful comedian. Even when he does voiceover for Monsters Inc. You know, I just love the sound of Billy Crystal, and maybe going back a little bit to like the Godfather we were talking about and the movies before that. I love a movie which goes over a period of time rather than just concentrates on 6 months, and you see their relationship blossom. And there's certain bits of the movie you can relate to, and of course that famous line of "Men and women can never be friends. We've all been there before." And we all lie. Can I just tell the women that if ever a man says no, they can't, they're lying to you now. Right? We can't. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
It's another one that's still relevant today, I think.
Yeah, very much so. If ever a man says no, we could be friends, he's lying because he wants to be more than just
exactly.
But no, it was one of those movies where right from the beginning I was rooting for them both to be together, and they were so opposite. You know, she couldn't stand the sight of him for quite a lot of the movie, and then when they eventually met up and he was getting a divorce and he'd calmed down and she'd not found the right person, it was great. It was and of course the famous scene in the deli where Meg Ryan fakes the orgasm, something I didn't even know women could do. I thought they were
an educational film as well.
Well, I watched it with my 13-year-old daughters. It was one of the only ones on your list. I thought I can watch this with my kids. So I put it on, and when it got to that scene, I was just like, I'm just going to go to the loo quickly.
Did
I
you
have
not
questions from this one?
When you say just go to the loo, what you mean to have a wank?
No.
Why didn't you just fast forward it? Why didn't you just fast forward it?
I kind of forgot it. Like I forgot it was coming up, and by the time it started, it was too late. They were already asking questions. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. We had a long conversation about it.
My one of my kids not so long ago said to me, "I've got to be quiet because they're out there." I said, "What's sex?" Because I've been hearing, and I just looked at her and I just thought, "There's no way I'm doing this now." And I just looked at her and I went, "Do you want some chocolate?" And she went, "Yeah." And I went, "Come on."
I'll try that next time.
That was it. I was out. It's like a Rolodex in my brain was going, "No, you can't say that. You can't say that." Chocolate.
And next, number 5 is Back to the Future.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing film. It's just, I was blown away by that when I saw it in the cinema. I thought it was phenomenal. You know, there's been time traveling movies before, but nothing as sort of relevant and something you could not relate to. But I think as a kid growing up, everyone saw themselves as a sort of, you know, Marty McFly. Not that they had the mad Doc as a friend, but you know that you'd want to go to school like that on a skateboard, be really cool. And the idea of going back in time and then seeing how your mum and dad grew up and accidentally changing what was going to happen, and then having to, you know, make right all the wrongs you've done. And the DeLorean, just everything was fantastic. And we were talking about, you know, trilogy movies, and you know, the guy I hated The Godfather 3. I showed my my kids the first Back to the Future and the second Back to the Future over like a week, and then they said, "Should we watch the third one?" And I was like, "Third one's not that good." which I'm gonna make them watch it, because I think as a trilogy they do stand up. You know, they are great. But the third, I don't know. Maybe I need to see the third one again. But I've seen it maybe 10 times, and each time I come away going, you know,
it's not that bad. If it was a standalone film, it would have been great. It's just because the other two are so good.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So. I mean, the second one was fantastic as well. You know, when he went back and, you know, Biff over the tower, and he was a multi-millionaire, and he had to go and get the book back off him from the safe and all that. It's just a great movie. It's a phenomenal movie, actually. I hope, because we were talking about it before, I hope that's a movie that no one ever dares touch and tries to remake it.
Yeah.
Well, so far that's been on.
Yeah. And making a time machine. Making a DeLorean out of a time machine. Sorry, that way around. Making a time machine out of a DeLorean. What an amazing idea that was.
Yeah, it was inspired, yeah. So iconic now as well. If you see a DeLorean, you only think of one thing now. It's literally Back to the Future.
Yeah, and I know you had Keith Lemon on, and I know Keith really well, and I've spoken to him so many times, because obviously he's got loads of money. I've spoken to him so many times, like, just get one.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't.
No, I can't do that. I can't get one.
He has got everything else, though, hasn't he?
He has got everything else, yeah.
That room is
although
insane.
Can you see the Han Solo and carbonite behind
Oh,
me?
That's exactly what we were talking about you next.
Hold on, let me just. This won't work on a podcast, I know, but you can hold on. If I just do that, that should be able to move up. There you go. Can you see that?
Oh, that's amazing.
That's as far back as it goes.
That's probably 3D as well.
Yeah.
That comes. I got that first, and then told Keith about it, and he went and got one. But what his doesn't have, which mine does, I then contacted a movie prop company in America. So on the side of it, you've got the display, the readout of Han Solo obviously being alive, his heart being alive. And I contacted a company in Hollywood that makes props to make me that, and it's all connected. So I've got a remote button. I press a button, it's over there, and it comes on, and oh my god, it's amazing.
That's amazing.
Is that just so you could one up Keith with his?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my wife was when I ordered it, I didn't know how big it was, and when it arrived, my wife was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think it's a door. It's the size of a door. I've got a door hanging on my wall." And
that is amazing. That's one of the best bits of memorabilia I've ever seen.
That is. I'm very proud of that. It's sort of, I don't know if you can see all the Star Warsy stuff I've got.
Yeah, I'm just looking at mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I go a bit Star Wars mad. I've got the I collect these, the little.
Ah, nice.
I know that doesn't work on the podcast. So these are the original figures, Star Wars figures from '77. So I've got all of them. I get quite obsessed with collecting stuff. If I get one, so do you want me to tell you the brief story behind that one?
Go for it, yeah.
So my mate John, for my birthday a couple of years ago, got me this Luke Skywalker one. Right. So they're all in these perspex boxes that are sealed, and they've got a certificate on the side, right? So it tells you like the year they came from and the actual name of it and all that sort of stuff. And so I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! I love Star Wars. So then I got quite drunk that night, and on eBay I then bought the Han Solo one. Right?
Nice. Yeah.
Right. So then I thought, I've got Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, I'm done. So then a mate of mine who's a big Star Wars fan, he said, "Oh, you've got 2 of the first 12." And I went, "What do you mean? First 12, what does that mean?" And he said, "Well, when Kenner released them, they brought out 12 originally, and people collect the sets." And I was like, "Okay, right." So while I started collecting, so I've got all the other, you can't see them, but I've got all the other 10 here, right? Stormtrooper. So while I was collecting them, you sort of research what other ones they do and all that sort of stuff. So one that kept coming up, which was an absolute fortune, was I think it's called Yak Face. You're familiar with Yak Face? It's over there.
I don't recognise the name from Star Wars now.
Hold on,
probably recognise it when I see him.
It's called. Hold on, let me find it. There. Is it called Yak Face? I haven't seen it. Yeah. Yeah, Yak Face. So it's that one, right?
Wow.
Okay.
Was that? Oh, where's? I was thinking Mos Eisley Canteen or something. I can't remember that picture.
Do you know what? I think some of these weren't even in the movies. They cut them originally, right? So that Yak Face was selling for like £700. And while I was going on eBay trying to find the ones I needed for my 12, I saw a Yak Face for like £220. I was like, wow, what a bargain! I should get that, right? So then I got that, and I thought, great, an investment. They're worth a few quid. So I was talking to my mate, and I went, I managed to get a Yak Face for just over 200 quid. And he went, oh, you've got one of the last 17. I was like, what do you mean last 17? So then I had to collect, and then that was it. There's like 130 of them, and I was like, there's no way I can go through.
Yeah, you go on forever, can you?
Yeah, but they're an investment. There were some of them are for small fortune. So what I did was I had a load of stuff in my loft, like an old set of golf clubs or clothes that were given to me or whatever, and I sold all of them on eBay and then bought these with that. So effectively, I've invested the money. Is what
that's a good way of doing it. Yeah,
you basically Jordan Belfort. You just invested. That's all you do.
There you go. Yeah, it's to the family's benefit, not mine.
Exactly. Well, that takes us on perfectly to your number 4, which you just put Star Wars. So we're just assuming that's just broad every Star Wars film.
No, it's not. It's the original Star Wars movie. Right. Yeah, the first, the very, very first one, which is number 4, I think, isn't it?
In the series.
So I love the first. I'm going first 3 is in the order that they came out. So I love Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi. The next 3 with Jar Jar Binks, they should be destroyed. Those tapes. And then I liked the last 3 that came out. I really did like them. They brought back some old characters. They brought back some little gag. When you saw the Millennium Falcon and the training Jedi ball that Luke used in the original Star Wars. You saw bits. I liked all that. But because I grew up with the actual first 3 Star Wars movies, they just mean a lot more to me. I can relate to them. They remind me of my childhood. They remind me of where I was when I was watching it and all that sort of stuff. So then I picked one of the 3, and I just thought Star Wars, it was so ahead of its time. It had never been done. There were so many stories surrounding people who either had the choice of getting a percentage of the merchandise or $7 grand in cash for their role, and some took the deal, and some. There's just so many amazing stories surrounding it about how they nearly didn't finish making it, and no one would take the movie, and it was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. And even now, when you look at the effects on it, the special effects on it, there have been movies made since then that have worse special effects.
Definitely, yeah.
I thought it's mind blowing. You know, at the end when the X-Wing fighter's going down there trying to blow up the Death Star, that looks amazing now. It looks amazing.
Definitely, yeah. They're still making movies now that aren't as good special effects. I've seen recent ones that have been worse than that.
Yeah. And then they decided to bring out the first three with added bits on, you know, with CGI.
Yeah,
like,
with the Yoda.
It's not broken. It's perfect. Star Wars is perfect, but you know, I understand I have to sell it again to a new young market and get everyone involved. But I'm going for the original Star Wars.
Right. How do you feel about the Mandalorian series? You've been watching that?
Well, do you know what? I watched the first episode with my kids, and I thought it looked a bit cheap.
Really?
So I didn't watch any more. And all Star Wars mates of mine have said, I say all Star Wars fans, all Star Wars mates. I don't have a lot of Star Wars mates. It's not like we go conventions every day. But they all said, you've got to watch it. It's really good. And I was like, okay, have you both seen it?
It's amazing. It's so good. Just really
it's the best Star Wars since the original.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, well, that's nice to know. I will watch it then. You have my word, I will watch it and report back.
It's season 2 as well. It's just
it gets better as it goes on.
The last 5 episodes of season 2 is some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
I tell you what put me off is at the end of the first episode, they showed you like what you think is baby Yoda, right? And I just thought that just looks like Gordon the Gopher. so it just put me off. So, but I'll watch it. I will watch it.
You'll grow to love Baby Yoda. He's a good character.
Right.
You said about Back to the Future 3, you weren't keen to show your kids because it's not as good as the other two. Were you the same with the second trilogy of Star Wars? Have they seen like?
I've got 2 girls, so they're not really interested in it. Yeah, no. My youngest will watch it to please me.
Yeah.
My eldest is not interested in Star Wars. Although ironically her best friend is. So when her best friend comes around here, she's like, "Can we go to your dad's office?" And she's like, "Why?"
Can imagine,
yeah.
That's cool.
Next on list number 3 is Casino.
I put the top 3 I think are my top 3 movies actually. So Casino, it was a difficult one between this and Goodfellas, which I think I'll put. You don't want to reveal it yet, but he's in the top 3. I put Casino in because it's just a faultless movie. The acting in it is amazing. It's got you on the edge. It's so similar, I think, to Goodfellas. In as much as the journey you go on, I'm thinking now, you know, why is Casino better than Goodfellas?
They're really close.
I'm giving Goodfellas 10 out of 10. I'm giving Casino 9.5 out of 10. There's no real difference between them. I love the clothes they wear. I love the colours in it. Again, the story takes you from, you know, when they started off to Sharon Stone just losing the absolute plot. And I love the way she tries to hide her boyfriend from De Niro, and he goes crazy. And Joe Pesci's character's amazing when they meet up in the desert, and Pesci, you know, threatens him, and it's just. I'm guessing you've both been to Vegas.
No.
Oh wow, okay. So I'm lucky enough to have been to Vegas. I used to every other year for Sky. We used to have a show out there. So I've been about 7 times, and it just reminded me of how great Vegas is. You know, with all the bright lights, and you know, everyone's so glamorous, and you genuinely think you're going to win £1 million or $1 million when you go on a slot machine. It's just brilliant. There's not one down moment in that movie. You're constantly on the edge of your seat, and it's very rare that a movie can do that. Usually there's a couple of lulls here and there, but I just think Casino's absolutely faultless. And again, another true story, you know, which is why I loved it.
Yeah. The one thing we talked about as soon as we saw your Casino on your list is when we started messaging each other is the ending to that movie with Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci,
character. It's
with
one of the
with
most
the baseball bat.
It's like an iconic cinema moment, I think. I watched it when I was really young, and I've never forgotten it. It's one of those things that's always stuck with me.
And also, the great bit about that is he's doing the voiceover, and the voiceover cuts as he gets hit with the baseball bat. You know, which really is something that's really rare. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's amazing movie. Yeah, and horrific.
Brutal, absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
it's really the narration. It keeps changing, doesn't it? It starts off with De Niro, and then Sharon Stone narrates it for a bit, and then it goes Pesci. I don't know many films where the narrator changes constantly through. It's only one person telling their story, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Quite
So,
clever
in Goodfellas, it's Ray Liotta.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really clever. Which is your number 2, Goodfellas?
Yeah, Goodfellas, you got number 2.
Okay, that's what I put as number 2. I mean, there's a theme here, isn't there, with gangster? I just remember when it came out, and I just was. I think I watched it, and then I went back in to watch it again, or I watched it the next day. I went back to the cinema, but I definitely watched it twice in a small amount of time. It's just there's dark moments in it. All 3 of them are. I mean, I'd not heard of Ray Liotta before that movie, and he's effectively the lead in it, and he absolutely bosses that movie. It is a real insight into what was going on in America at that time, and it was you get the feeling again, going back to what we were saying about Jordan Belfont in Wolf of Wall Street. You find you have a connection with De Niro and Pesci and Liotta, like Pesci's a nasty person in it, absolutely nasty. And when he gets when he thinks he's going to get made and they shoot him in the back of the head, and De Niro loses the plot, you genuinely feel that this guy's lost one of his mates and he's been double crossed. And at the end of it, where they all get slightly older and Ray Liotta's convinced that De Niro's going to either murder him or his wife, and then. It's just a phenomenal movie. I could watch that every single day and never ever get bored with it. It's just so wonderfully made.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's my favorite De Niro film, which is.
Yeah, I was going to say of your top 10, that would be my number 1 of that top 10 Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
I just love it. I just think it's literally an entire arc of this person's life, of how they grew up, became a gangster, then the downfall of the gangster. It's just brilliant how it's all portrayed in that. And Joe Pesci, it makes him so evil in that film. And he's the same, like, smaller than me. He's like, you wouldn't be scared of him, but in that film, you're terrified.
Well, that famous scene where they're in the restaurant and it all goes quiet, and he goes like, I make you laugh like a clown. When you're watching that in the cinema, you can hear a pin drop. So everyone's like, "Oh, you've upset him. Nobody move. It might be you."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there are so many iconic moments in that movie. There's so many iconic, and the picture of the dog looking one way and one dog looks the other way. Do you know what I mean? When they've just murdered Billy Batts, and
they go to the mother's house,
and they go to his mum's. I bought my mate that picture and had it framed because he's a massive and it looks great.
That's brilliant. You talked about watching it like in the cinema. That scene. Obviously with COVID and all that, cinema's been a bit of a nightmare this year. Is like going to the cinema, is that your favourite way to enjoy movies, or do you like having to sit
I don't, because I've got 2 young kids and I work in the evening, so I don't really have a chance to go to the cinema, because I can't go to the cinema on my own. I think I can never queue up and go, just a 1 ticket, please. I can't do that. So I don't really have a chance. And when I get to weekends, I've worked a week and I'm thinking, I'd rather go out for dinner. I'll take the kids to the cinema to see their stuff, which is fine. But what I do with Keith Lemon, because we're both massive Star Wars fans, every time the new Star Wars movie comes out, we both go and see it together in 3D or 4. No, not what's the one where it's not only 3D but also if there's a windy moment, there's wind on your feet, the chair
IMAX 4D or whatever it's called.
So we watch it in that. So I saw the Solo movie with Keith.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in that where they're trying to get on a train that's going around the mountains.
Yeah.
So I was in my seat, and while the train's going around, you're swerving on it. I come out of that movie theater, and I was like, that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, ever. Yeah. And everyone else I spoke to who just saw it in a normal cinema, they're like, it's all right. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then of course you realise I was actually on the train. It was amazing.
I think that's one of the best things about cinema is like my favourite film I've ever seen in cinema isn't anywhere near my favourite film, but it's just the cinema experience. Like Blade Runner 2049 is my favourite cinema film, just because the visuals, the soundtrack is just amazing. But it just adds something else. It's not a top 10 film, but it is my favourite.
Yeah, it can. You are right. It takes a lot away not being in the cinema, but also if you watch a movie at home, it gives you the opportunity to be on Instagram, be on Twitter, speak to your mates on the phone, watch the football, which of course
pause it if you need to.
all the things you shouldn't be doing if you're watching a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What, speaking of, obviously you went to Las Vegas, and obviously you've been to America, and one of the things I noticed when I been to America, and I've been to the cinema in America, is I much prefer an English cinema, because in America everyone is shouting, like cheering when things happen. Like I've seen clips of people when people watch Avengers Infinity War, they're cheering, and you can't hear the next line. But in an English cinema, everyone's just dead quiet, enjoying themselves. That's what I prefer, definitely.
I think that's because fans of those movies you just talked about are incredibly sad people. They're only allowed out once a year to watch that movie. So they're cheering because they've got freedom for effectively. That's what it is.
So your number one movie, Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, it's always been my favourite movie. That I had a bit of a dilemma when I was making this list for you guys, thinking, actually, is it? But then I just thought, I've always said, whenever anyone said, what's your favourite movie? I've always said it was that. I think it's a really long film. It's about 3.5 hours long.
Yes.
And again, it's about, I know this sounds so dull. I know it's about, that's why I had to stick Harry Met Sally in there just to comment. But it's, it's James Woods in it. It's fantastic. Joe Pesci's in it as well. De Niro's in it. So it's an amazing stellar cast. Yeah. The story's fantastic. It's set, in the, I think in like the 1930s, is it, in America?
Yeah,
and it's again, it picks up the story. Starts when these guys are kids, and then it goes back into when they're much older, and then it goes back to when they're in their 20s. And the end, I won't spoil the end. Have you seen it, either of you two?
I watched it this morning.
Did you watch the whole movie?
For the first time, yeah, I watched it this morning.
Okay, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't my top film because I was expecting a Goodfellas sort of film, because all I knew obviously it was a gangster movie, so it was different than what I imagined. It was good. It was long, but obviously it was a good film. The only difference I had was
go on.
Well, the only thing I didn't like about it compared to the others is with Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street, that I was rooting for them even though I didn't like them. Whereas with these, it wasn't like I wanted them to do well. Because I just thought Robert De Niro's character, he's a nasty man in it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The things he does throughout the movie.
Did you get the ending? Because it took me a long time to work out what I think. I think everyone has their own view of how it ends.
With Max and the garbage truck. And...
Yeah. Okay, you're not going to say in case it spoil it for people. Don't say it.
It came out how many years ago? So can it be a spoiler?
You must spoil it up and all.
Yeah, I think it can be because it is how the movie ends, and it's I love it, and there might be people listening to this going, oh, I've never heard of that. If it's got that great time,
you wouldn't do it for 6
cents. True.
I quite like. There's quite a lot of moments where it's just dialogue.
Yeah.
Right. Like I mean, this sounds stupid, but there's a moment. I don't know if you remember this. There's a moment in it. I don't know why I'm mentioning this, but there's a moment in it where I think it's De Niro is just stirring a cup of tea.
Yeah. And everyone's just looking at it.
And then he goes like. And then at the end of the story, he goes like, and then puts the teaspoon down, and then brings the cup round. And I usually hate movies like that. You just go, just drink the tea. But with this one, I just absolutely adore the slow build of it and the dialogue, and you can see just the emotion on these people's faces as the story ebbs and flows, and it's my favourite movie. It has been since the minute I watched it, and I watch it quite often. I won't necessarily watch it from beginning to end, but if I'm going out in an hour, I'll just stick it on and maybe watch an hour halfway through it because it's just great. It's just great.
That scene with the coffee cup as well. That's when James Woods just explodes as well. That woman. It is a good scene. That bit. It goes from 0 to 60.
Yeah, I like the bit where when they're I mean I like it all, but obviously when they're in the car and he says, "Do you want to go for a swim?" When because it's all about the prohibition as well. And the phone rings. The phone rings goes from one scene to another, and you don't quite understand, and you think, are they all dead, or was it a ploy to think that they're all dead? But it's great. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah.
You definitely had a theme in your films.
I know, but see again, my top 10, the three are the three.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the, I don't know if have you got the whole list there that I sent?
Yeah, I've got the whole list there. Yeah.
See, there's quite a big mixture in the other.
Yeah, you got like Shawshank, Die Hard, Raiders of the Lost Ark, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, it definitely varies from the gangster films after that.
Dead Man's Shoes as well. Great.
Dead Man's Shoes is a great movie. Yeah,
it's so underrated, that film.
Old Boy as well. I love Old Boy.
Yeah, Old Boy, the
Old Boy.
original. Yeah.
Again, the remake was appalling. Have I put Mezzarine in there? Have you seen that?
Yeah, you got that in there. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God,
I haven't seen it. No, you got 1 and 2, but I don't even know. I never heard of 1.
Yeah, that's a see. I was going to put that in, but then that's very not similar. But you'll know what I mean when you watch it. But it's a little bit Godfather 2-y, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's not. But you'll understand what I mean when you see it.
Right, okay.
But that's a mind blowing movie. Like I was just blown away when I saw that. That was great. You should watch that. You should watch that. Again, the problem with the top 10 is there's only 10.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so hard, yeah.
I wanted to put under each movie a bracket with another movie, so effectively I've got
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. It's good. It's good to do. I've never really had to write out a top 10 of my favourite movies before, so you sort of learn from it.
Yeah, you never think about it that hard, like to pin it down, do you?
Yeah.
Well, we're now going to find out how much you know about your favourite films.
No pressure, but Keith got 10 out of 10.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, let me just tell you that my memory's so bad, genuinely, right? I sometimes forget what I go up the stairs for. Right?
Well, Keith did also say that he basically watches them all the time.
Yeah.
So he'd seen them all quite recently, which makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
so,
all right. Is it one question on each film?
Yeah.
And I'll start Once Upon a Time, a question about that. Then obviously Goodfellas then.
Okay.
Right, you ready?
No pressure.
Is question number 1 on Once Upon a Time, is it what kind of liquid is in the cup that he's stirring and then puts
No,
tea?
really not.
Quickly change it now.
Right, so the first one, Once Upon a Time in America. So when asked by Fat Mo, what have you been doing all these years? What does Noodles reply?
He says, brushing my teeth. No, he didn't say that. He says, what have you been doing all these years? It's something like waiting for your thing to come in. It's something, I don't know. I don't know.
You're not far off of brushing your teeth. He says going to bed early.
Oh, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
So,
okay, do you want me to react like this? Oh, yeah, of course it is. Or I wouldn't have got that.
It looks
no,
bad.
just react like
now you say it, I remember it, but I wouldn't have got it.
In Goodfellas, which major actor had a minor role as guitarist Stack Edwards?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, correct. So in Casino, what is Ginger's cause of death? Spoiler alert.
Overdose on drugs.
Yeah. It's question 4. So Owen Lars, say again. So Owen Lars, what job does Owen Lars have? He's a farmer. What type of farmer?
Is it trees?
Nah, moisture farmer.
Oh,
it's a weird one.
Moisture farmer.
Moisture farmer. Yeah.
Moisture farmer. What's a moisture farmer?
It's for water. He's in the desert, isn't he?
That's what they call it in the film.
I think you're making it up now, lads.
You'll have to watch it again.
Right, so Back to the Future. At the start of the film, the mall is called Twin Pines Mall. What is it called at the end of the film?
Single Pine Mall.
I'll give you that. It's Lone Pine Mall.
Oh, Lone. Oh my God.
Close enough.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
So When Harry Met Sally, which classic film do Harry and Sally watch in bed while they're talking on the phone?
Casablanca.
Correct. Godfather 2. Who is the oldest of the Corleone siblings?
Sonny.
Correct. Wolf of Wall Street. What is Jordan's dad's nickname?
Oh my God. It's not that. That's just me. That's just me. Can you give me the first letter of it?
M.
What's the next letter?
A.
I feel like I'm stuck in Countdown now.
It's also a film.
Yeah, it's also a film.
Was it just 3 letters? Just give me the third letter.
D.
Mad Dog.
Mad Max.
I was going to say that.
In Raging Bull, why does Jake assault his brother Joey?
Because Joey slept with his wife.
Correct. And number 10 for 12 Angry Men, The seventh juror wants to go because he has tickets to what event?
A baseball game.
Correct.
That's it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10. That's not a bad score
take
at
that.
all.
I'll take that.
You
I'll
did
take
have
that.
tougher questions than Keith, if
Yeah,
I'm
tough
honest.
questions there,
Yeah, I bet I did. Yeah. What was
It's
Keith's
harder to do
spell,
questions for a
Keith?
film like it's harder to do questions for a film like Once Upon a Time in America than it is for
yeah.
Ghostbusters or Back to the Future. You know?
Yeah, I could have probably. Have you got Keith's questions? I'll probably get all of them right.
Oh, God.
I don't know if we have. Huh?
No, I think it's downstairs.
They were literally like the Back to the Future one was what's the number plate
Registration plate.
on the drawing?
Back in time.
Out
Out of time.
Oh,
Good.
fucking hell. I'm glad you asked me them. Yeah, of course.
Good
it
job,
was.
remember the
Okay.
rest.
I'll cut that
Yeah.
out. Don't worry.
Yeah. Hold on. Just so you're going to cut it. Out of time. Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought so. A lot of people say back in time, but of course they're wrong.
So the shoes.
Yeah, it's the bit you've been waiting for now.
main
Eh?
event.
Right. Okay. Right. So, how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to put my hand in and to only take out one at a time, or
No,
what?
no.
So I don't look.
It's up to you.
Take them out. Look at both of them. You can talk about them. Obviously.
Have I got to decide which one's better?
Yeah, we've
Yes.
done one each, so I'm 1-0 up. Keith preferred mine, just put that in there.
Yeah.
So
But that's like asking me to choose my favourite child,
That's the second
which
place.
of course is the eldest. Right, okay. I'm not going to look. I'm going to look at one at a time, all right? Because I've got my hand in the box. So here we go. I'm taking them out. I'm so excited about this. So here we go. Oh my goodness! So I'm looking at the casino one now.
Yeah.
Wow, how do you do that? So it's got Pesci and De Niro on the side. You've got dice on the back. You've got casino written on the sort of tonguey bit. You've got the chips on the front of it, and casino. Oh my god, that's unbelievable. I should be looking at both of you to see which one's more proud, shouldn't I?
I'm seething right now. I'm seething.
How do you do that? How do you do that? That is incredible. Wow, that's fun. That is frightening how you can do that. Okay.
We haven't been able to do it because so far everyone's picking good films, and there's nothing better than having to do things for films we like.
All right.
That's
Okay.
like
How can I ask?
enjoy it anyway.
How? I mean, there's no way you can wear these. Obviously, how long?
Yeah, you can
How
wear
long
them
would that?
It'll,
No, I could never.
it'll last as long as the shoe, if not longer.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, how long does it take you to do that?
Oh, right. That took me about a day and a half.
Took you, did it?
Slipped out that one. Yeah, so it took about a day and a half.
A day and a half. My God.
I was watching
amazing.
the films at the same time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, right. That's one trainer.
Rob's got a lot to live up to. Yeah.
I know. Pick that now.
Let's look at the second one. I just
throw
saw it.
Just throw it, Andy.
Oh my God.
It's a bit
So
brighter.
it's Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, look at that. I'm not fucking leaving. Steve Madden. That's amazing.
When you said your kids wanted to look at him, I was like, please don't look at that shoe.
Oh, wait, I see. Oh my God. That's frightening. Oh, wow. You guys are ridiculously talented, aren't you? Is it just trainers you do or anything?
We do pretty much anything.
Yeah, we do anything.
Like, you can see the paintings in the background as well. We do stuff like that.
Wow.
His wallets, all sorts of things.
Oh, do you? I'm so coming back to you to get stuff done. That's amazing.
I'm happy with that, mate, yeah. As long as it's not Man United, it's fine.
It won't. Who's your teams?
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Okay.
Rob's just a fancy football fan.
I'm just
Oh,
fancy football fan.
I mean, there's no way I can. You've made them as opposite as possible. There's no way I can go out the street with them. Although I never would. I mean, they're like works of art now. You want me to pick? What do I have to pick a winner?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Keith was the same. He didn't really want to pick one.
Okay. Well. What else? Firstly, thank you. They're unbelievable.
No,
They are
Thank you
just,
for doing this.
they're mind blowing. They really are fantastic. I can't pick a winner, but I'm just gonna. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna level up the score. So I'm gonna go for the Wolf of Wall Street one because
Should have kept quiet, shouldn't I?
Yes.
I can't. Had you not mistakenly said my one, then I don't know what I would have said because I can't find
Whatever.
fault with either of them. I mean,
I'll
the
take that
Niro
with you.
Pesci, that's just incredible. But I mean, that I like the. It does remind me of David Brent. The old. I'm not leaving.
I've got a pair
That's
of David Brent
amazing.
shoes.
Guys, you are horrifically talented. Thank you so much.
Thank
They're
you.
going to go.
Thank you.
They're going to have pride of place on one of my shelves. They
Thank
really
you.
are.
Well, that means a lot with all the stuff you've got.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no, listen, they're amazing. And have you left me like your card or anything so I can take pictures and put it on Instagram?
Did you put one in there?
You posted them, didn't
I should have put one in there.
In there? Oh, yeah, hold on.
There you go.
Yes, I've got it.
Idea.
you?
So, am I allowed? Do you want to wait till this comes out, or can I put these up now and say like?
You can put them now, mate.
Yeah, you can put them up now if you want. That's perfect.
All right. And is that on Insta as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Insta's our main thing, really. Instagram.
Okay, I will.
We'll do that
As soon as
Twitter.
we're done, I will put them up. Guys, you are unbelievable.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Appreciate
for doing this. It's been great chatting about films. Great
Yeah,
things
no,
to
listen,
talk
I've enjoyed it. I
about.
like talking about movies, and even more so when someone says, "Do you want free stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I
it. Always helps, yeah.
do." Who doesn't want free stuff?
You'd be surprised.
Well, they're missing out. More for them.
Yeah,
exactly,
They're fantastic. They're great. They're great. Thank you so much, lads. I really enjoyed that. That was great.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing it.
Thank
I
you,
really
mate, yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Andy for coming on and talking about his favourite films.
Don't forget, if you'd like to win a pair of your very own Geeky Blinders customs, just subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll pick a winner in episode 3. Thank you.